Mortal Kombat has always been, and always will be. For millennia, the forces of good and evil have been locked in eternal battle over the control of Earthrealm. Some seek to use the tournament to destroy all that is good. Others seek vengeance, power, or eternal life. Time after time, each individual threat has been vanquished, and Earthrealm has enjoyed relative peace for many years. But there is concern that Earth is once again in peril. And this time, the threat of evil has two faces. It is now known that the sorcerer Quan Chi has escaped from the Netherrealm. Since his escape, Quan Chi has unlocked the secret of the ancient runestone, discovered the ancient undefeatable army of the long-forgotten Dragon King, and most disturbing of all, formed an alliance with one of our deadliest enemies, Shang Tsung. With their combined strength, they plotted to overpower the only two beings who could prevent their total domination of the two realms. The first was the Emperor of Outworld, Shao Kahn. In a false show of allegiance, they sprung their attack. They then traveled to Earthrealm by way of a mystical portal known only to sorcerers and deities. There, they confronted Earth's mightiest warrior and champion of Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang. It has been Shang Tsung's desire to consume the soul of Earthrealm's greatest warrior. With Quan Chi's assistance, he achieved this goal. Liu Kang is dead. They have since returned to Outworld and are using the souls of conquered warriors to resurrect the Dragon King's undefeatable army. Should they succeed, they will have the means to conquer Outworld and eventually Earthrealm. They will be unstoppable. I can no longer stand idly by and watch this evil consume the world. I have relinquished my status as Elder God to return to Earth and lead you all to battle against our old adversaries. We must act now. We must stop this deadly alliance. Boraicho looked gruff, but beamed inwardly. With their victory over the deadly alliance complete, he and Kung Lao had liberated Outworld from its latest threat. Despite the years that had passed since training his last student, his skills had proven useful once more. He was elated, but it would be inappropriate to express such emotions in front of his newest apprentice. Kung Lao invited his master to return with him to Earthrealm to teach more warriors at the Wuxi Academy. The success of his apprentice gave him renewed confidence in his training skills and, for the first time, a clear purpose in life. Boraicho offered only token resistance. He accepted the offer because the defenders of Earthrealm could certainly use his help, but more importantly, because Earthrealm's rice wine put Outworld's liquor to shame. Rage fueled Kung Lao's thirst for revenge. The memory of holding his fellow monk's broken body on the Lei Tai of the Wuxi Academy grounds consumed him as he rained blow after blow down upon Shang Tsung. Kung Lao had finally mastered the attack Boraicho had taught him. The sorcerer could not withstand his whirlwind assault. Shang Tsung begged for mercy. Kung Lao granted him none. Upon his return to Earthrealm, Kung Lao stood before the modest shrine to Liu Kang, which had been erected by the Wuxi initiates during his absence in Outworld. He lit a stick of incense and placed it among the others already burning there. He bowed his head and prayed for safe passage to the afterlife for his friend and brother. With Shang Tsung's death, Liu Kang's spirit could rest peacefully. Earthrealm was safe once more, but at a terrible cost. The work of the White Lotus Society had become more important than ever. Kitana's longtime enemy Shao Kahn was dead, and the alliance between Shang Tsung and Quan Chi was defeated with the help of warriors from Earthrealm. Although there was peace once more throughout the realms, all was not right for Kitana. Saddened by the death of Goro, she attended a ceremony in the Kuotan Palace to honor her fallen friend and ally. Following Shokan tradition, Prince Goro's body was lowered into the molten rock contained within the throne room itself. As Kitana said goodbye to her wartime ally, she also held a moment of silence for Liu Kang, and secretly wished he had joined her in Edenia so many years ago. As they traveled back to the portal that would return them to Earthrealm, Sub-Zero revealed to Frost that she had been an integral part in the destruction of the Deadly Alliance, and that he was proud to have her as a member of the Lin Kuei clan. But unknown to Sub-Zero, Frost's true intention for joining the Lin Kuei was to become Grandmaster herself. She used her Ice Blast to temporarily immobilize him and rip the Dragon Medallion from his chest. As she held the medallion, she felt power surge through her body. Lacking the strength and discipline required to control the medallion's immense power, she was consumed by her own freezing ability. After defeating the Deadly Alliance, Sub-Zero returned to the new temple of the Lin Kuei with the severely injured ninja, Frost. A short time later, I visited the temple to commend him for his victory in Outworld and to express my gratitude for all his assistance. With Sub-Zero now the Grand Master of the Lin Kuei, Earthrealm will be well protected. Once again, the threat to Earthrealm has been vanquished. The Deadly Alliance is no more. What dangers lie in the future I can no longer foresee. Perhaps the Dragon King will in fact return. Perhaps the depths of the Netherrealm will spew forth a legion of Oni. Even the vampire people pose a threat to peace now that Outworld is in chaos. But one thing is certain. Earthrealm must be protected. I have abandoned my status as Elder God to aid these mortals and act defiant of the heavens. I will instead remain here on Earth as God of Thunder. The enormous heat and pressure of the lava burned out Cyrax's sensors almost immediately. He cast about blindly in the infernal pit, searching for the orb Nitara had sent him to locate. Cyrax found it resting upon a small submerged pedestal beneath the molten depths. As soon as he clambered to the surface, she demanded he hand over the orb. Nitara had promised to return Cyrax to Earthrealm once the orb had been retrieved. Taking her necklace in hand, she uttered a mystical incantation. A swirling portal opened around Cyrax had he only had time for a solemn bow before he was swept into the gateway. After what seemed like an eternity, Cyrax finally emerged from the lava, holding the orb that had bound Nitara's realm to Outworld for ages. At last it was within her grasp. She would be able to free her people from Shao Kahn's imprisonment. Fulfilling her end of the bargain, she sent Cyrax back to his Earthrealm home in exchange for the orb. Nitara stared into the orb. It seethed with the power trapped within. She raised it above her head and then smashed it to the floor. It shattered with an inhuman, soul-rending howl. Its horrible energy exploded away and tore her consciousness from her. She awoke later for the first time on her native soil. Despite the strong sulfurous stench that filled the chamber, Reptile could smell that Nitara and Cyrax had been there recently. There was no sign of them now, except for some scattered glass shards and a residual trace of strong magical energies. His revenge would have to wait. Suddenly, an expectant hush filled the chamber as energy cascaded around what appeared to be a dragon embryo. The tiny dragon stretched and the egg cracked. A beam of energy ripped out from inside and lanced into Reptile. His world was filled with a roaring power as his squamous body was twisted and transformed. The ancient prophecy had been fulfilled. The Dragon King had returned. Having been enslaved through sorcery to guard the molten incubation chamber, Blaze was finally freed once the dragon egg had hatched. He then resumed the quest he had undertaken before being subdued by his captors. The hunt for Quan Chi had led Scorpion to the palace of Shang Tsung. Scorpion entered the palace through a hidden passage. As he made his way through the lower levels, he was discovered by the two Oni he had previously encountered while in the Netherrealm. Shang Tsung had secretly allied with Moloch and Draman as a backup defense against Quan Chi. The two Oni had been hidden in an underground chamber and were periodically fed mortals to keep them satisfied. Scorpion fought well, but was overpowered by Moloch and Draman. Although they could not consume the ninja specter, they devised another means for eliminating their foe that would satisfy their cruel nature. The Oni brought Scorpion before the portal to the heavens that Shang Tsung had tapped as a source of limitless souls. They hurled him into the Solnado, and his hellspawn body was ripped apart by the purity of that realm. For many years, Movado's Red Dragon clan had been secretly engineering the destruction of their rivals, the Black Dragon. Through careful manipulation, Movado had used the Special Forces to unwittingly aid them in this task. In return for eliminating Kenshi for the Deadly Alliance, Movado was finally granted his battle with the last known member of the Black Dragon, Kano. After a long, brutal fight, Movado emerged victorious, and all traces of the Black Dragon had been erased. Impressed with the fighting skill and discipline of Movado, as well as other members of his clan, Quan Chi realized the potential the Red Dragon held for staging the eventual invasion of Earthrealm. In return for their continued assistance, he offered crucial information about a new threat to Movado's Red Dragon clan, the Lin Kuei. Su Hao reported to his superior, Movado, and informed him of his success in destroying the Special Forces Outer World Investigation Agency. Movado then informed Su Hao of his next objective. It seemed that Quan Chi was proving to be a powerful ally and was willing to aid the Red Dragon in its quest for domination of Earth. In a show of good faith, Movado agreed to destroy Quan Chi's enemies. The sorcerer suspected betrayal from Shang Tsung. There was evidence that Shang Tsung had allied with the two Oni, known as Moloch and Draman. Su Hao's new orders were to eliminate the sorcerer Shang Tsung before the Oni eliminated Quan Chi. Jax had a score to settle with the traitor he knew as Su Hao. Now revealed to be a member of the Red Dragon, Su Hao had infiltrated the Special Forces Outer World Investigation Agency and destroyed it with a miniature nuclear weapon. Making good on his promise, Jax eventually caught up with Su Hao and ripped the implant from his chest in retribution. Su Hao died a most painful death. Sent by the sorcerer Shang Tsung, the two Oni known as Draman and Moloch confronted Quan Chi, enraged that he had tried to leave them stranded in the bowels of the Netherrealm. In the battle that ensued, Draman leapt at Quan Chi, and both combatants stumbled into the inner sanctum chamber. Moments later, Draman emerged from the chamber, altered from his previous form. Kenshi had finally caught up with Shang Tsung in Outworld. Years ago, Kenshi had been manipulated into releasing the souls of his warrior ancestors. Shang Tsung had consumed those souls and left Kenshi to die in the tomb. The ordeal left Kenshi blinded, but the sword of his ancestors led him out of the depths. To redeem himself, Kenshi had vowed to free his ancestors from their captor. He cut Shang Tsung down with his ancestral sword, and a blast of souls was instantly released. The spirits of the warrior kings re-entered the sword as Kenshi held it above his head. His duty fulfilled, he could now return to Earthrealm. After the destruction of the Deadly Alliance, Sonya searched for the missing Special Forces agent Kenshi. She finally discovered him badly beaten and near death, apparently from hook-like wounds in his ribcage. She managed to return him to the rendezvous point where I transported them back to Earthrealm. Upon her return, Sonya was promoted to General and given a choice of command. She handpicked a team to deal with new terrorist threats located on Earth, while in Outworld, Special Agent Kenshi had learned of a new threat to peace. The Red Dragon had awakened. Upset by the way his adventures had been portrayed in the past, Johnny Cage found a loophole in his contract and left MCM Studios during the production of Mortal Kombat: The Death of Johnny Cage. He then used his own money to fund the production of his next movie, which is rumored to be the true story of his latest adventures in Outworld. Mortal Kombat: Deadly Alliance broke all records in its first weekend in theaters and made Johnny Cage extremely wealthy. The movie told the true story of how Johnny Cage single-handedly saved the world from the threat of Quan Chi and Shang Tsung's Deadly Alliance. Li Mei had been promised that her people would be freed from enslavement if she could win the tournament held by the Deadly Alliance. Now that she had emerged victorious, the true purpose behind the tournament was finally revealed to her. Her soul would be the last one Shang Tsung needed to completely revive the Dragon King's lost army. Her people would never be freed, and Li Mei herself would remain trapped inside the mummified remains of a dead soldier, cursed to serve the Deadly Alliance forever. Deadly Alliance was successful in reviving the mummified remains of the Dragon King's undefeatable army. Shang Tsung, however, began to realize that his relevance in the partnership had evaporated once his talents for soul transplantation were no longer needed. The balance of power within the Deadly Alliance had seemingly been undone. Fearing betrayal, he secretly instructed Kano to steal Quan Chi's amulet in an attempt to gain control of the army. Since part of the soul transfer spell included the command to obey he who possesses the amulet, the army would obey only Shang Tsung and not Quan Chi once the amulet was in his possession. Amulet in hand, Shang Tsung revealed his betrayal to Quan Chi and commanded the army to destroy the sorcerer. Shang Tsung would succeed where others had failed. He would conquer the realms. He would conquer Earth. Kano and Sonya had fought before. Although Kano was humiliated by his defeat at her hands so many years ago, this time the outcome would be different. Kano had stolen Quan Chi's amulet at the request of Shang Tsung. With the amulet in his possession, Kano came to the realization that he was now in total control of the revived undefeatable army. Rather than hand the amulet and the army over to Shang Tsung, Kano kept them for himself and used the army to ambush Sonya, ending their long rivalry once and for all. The Deadly Alliance was successful in reviving the mummified remains of the Dragon King's undefeatable army. It would appear that nothing could stand in the way of Shang Tsung and Quan Chi as they began their domination of the realms. Unfortunately for Shang Tsung, however, Quan Chi had no further need for the partnership. Once Shang Tsung had finally revived the last of the mummified warriors, Quan Chi closed the portal to the heavens and effectively shut off Shang Tsung's endless supply of souls. Quan Chi then instructed Kano to assassinate Shang Tsung in a surprise weapon attack. With their captor cut wide open, the thousands of souls Shang Tsung had consumed in the past spewed forth and swirled around the room. Quan Chi came to the realization that if Kano could so easily turn on Shang Tsung, he could also turn on Quan Chi himself. Quan Chi used his sorcery to drain the life from Kano and left his body where it fell. Immediately, one of the lingering souls shot into Kano's body. To Quan Chi's surprise, the man standing before him was no longer the black dragon thug known as Kano. Kano's body now contained the soul of the Shaolin monk, Liu Kang.
The typical day in Mortal Kombat starts with me trying to get in as early as possible. Most of the other guys in the team work late into the night, and in the morning I can get a few uninterrupted hours to program in the character's moves and plan things out for the rest of the day.
Well, he takes his head off, basically throws it, sticks in the other guy's face, then he kind of staggers it for a little while, falls back on his back.
Legs are twitching, and Kung Lao comes there and he lifts his foot up, steps on the guy's stomach, the hat flies up, he grabs it, and goes into like a cool pose. Then, starting at about 9 or 10, most of the others start pouring in, and from that point on, the insanity begins.
Hello, Steve.
Hey. What's going on?
Oh, that was cool. Wow, you do that all like last night or something?
Yeah.
I like that. I finished the Shang Tsung, whatever that is.
Just trying to get the whipping right.
It looks cool when it goes back in his chest.
My main role on the team is background design.
You have the very European Gothic flying buttress and the very Asian tower top.
I made this single element, which I'm going to repeat. Right now you can see I've got textures on the model, but they're merely placeholder textures.
We got these hook swords. I don't know who's getting that, maybe a Movado. Just a regular staff. And they're all taped up, so when we capture, we get the Tanfa. The Tonfa. The Sai, of course you gotta have the Sai. The regular broadsword. There's more laying around everywhere else. So.
Welcome to Vogelland, where I'm doing Shang Tsung's fatality. I guess each time he hits, like, I think souls come out. You know, and going to Shang Tsung each time, or each time they go up in the air. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. I just know what I have to do animation-wise. And Ed's going to say, okay, now the souls come out, and now they don't.
Can you show me right where she makes impact, where she kicks him? Right here, you can stop. He doesn't. You don't even need him to do anything. Just don't even have him do any impact. This, if you can hand animate so she, you know, the impact repels her away. It's like a jerk like that, or we could do it in the game.
Cyrex is going to grind him up kind of like a blender. His doors are going to open again, and body parts and blood and ripped up flesh is going to come pouring out of his chest at the end. Tony's actually doing the bloody stumps and bloody pieces.
I do a lot of the whatever effects is needed for someone if they're getting, say, cut in half or something like that. This would overlay on top, and this part up here I haven't done it yet. Just kind of be the spinal column. So you get 2 in 1 here. There's a lot of good use of texture space.
What experience do you have that would qualify you as motion capture talent?
Rolling.
Start now.
More motion.
They will be unstoppable. You must stop this deadly alliance.
This was the acid bath. This is a concept drawing, and basically I wanted these statues here that had these churning bowls of acid inside it. And it's kind of like a Buddha, but demonized a little or something. It's a close-up, a head study. They would just gush out this vomit, this acid out of their mouth at the end of the round for a background fatality. It's tedious. I'm trying to limit your geometry and still try to get a lot of detail. Bleh.
And I don't think he should have these subtle things. It should be like, ah. Making a video game today is almost nothing like when we worked on the first Mortal Kombat in 1991. Mortal Kombat 1 had 1 programmer, 2 artists, and a sound designer. That's it. 4 guys. Whereas on Deadly Alliance, we have a team of over 50 people. We've been lucky enough to get some of the most talented people in the video game business. And on any given day, it's amazing how many different parts of the game are being worked on at the same time. A lot of what I do involves non-stop bouncing from office to office, checking out character and background designs, as well as all the technical hurdles we have to overcome. There's a lot of issues to deal with in producing this game for 3 systems simultaneously.
So do you want, I mean, Tony said he thinks he could probably do all the characters in a day or 2 with 4 levels of damage. But,
Really?
yeah, just doing faces.
You think you can do all characters in a day or 2?
I bet you I could.
Oh, I just
I would make
cut
a,
and pasting it?
yeah, I cut and
Oh,
paste
okay.
same scars and stuff. Doing a damage test. I did a beat up, and tried doing a beat up version of Sub-Zero and Lee May.
we're testing adding damage to players' faces. You can see a sample of the wounding on Sub-Zero and another character.
Man, that looks like.
If you want to see it the bad way, spin it around.
Oh, is that? It's like a new texture map for Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that looks awesome.
You know that some of those images actually look better at 128. Because when you have that much data to scramble. Enter.
How's that coming? Right now I can give you 3 levels, China.
Here's Sonya's clean face. And this is level 1, just a few bruises and cuts. 2, I imagine, is the level that you're going to see the most in the game. And then 3 should be like just insane, just over the top. Just
Looks good though.
Yeah, that's a weird. No, I mean, I think it's cool enough that that it's worth the effort. You know.
Brutal.
Yeah.
You want for lunch, Dad?
I think I need to eat. Let's go get Tony or somebody like that. Good. Hoagie's good. We're doing LeMay's Fatality, and John needs the Maya model.
You know, if it can have the texture maps too, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Oh,
That's even the closest one.
Usable?
Yeah.
I'll give him to Dan when he comes in next.
Cool. Thanks.
Well, it has digits in it, but that's what I'm showing.
Right. Oh, there you go. Look at that.
And here's our test your mic problem. Warm-up animations.
Go on, Jax. You can do it, Jax. Ah!
Today's a motion review, and then at the end of it, I'll show you stuff for lighting review, etc. But at any point, feel free to throw any comments out there about anything. Just be aware that I might say, yeah, that hasn't been lit yet, or yeah, we know that. Because I just had my team meeting, and here's an entire list of notes that we had from today's review.
The camera motion on the very first shot, it just seems a little quick. There's no ramp up to it. It just kind of starts speed and it goes across. I know we need to kind of get there, so maybe we need to just kind of look at that shot against the previous shot and see if it works.
There's some kind of problem with your work. Everybody says there's a communication problem. What gives?
Dude, I don't even know you anymore.
Just kick right away. Okay. Then, but you know, do the for a good hook. Carlos is the life of this game.
This is, now that I've got alternate Shang Tsung, I'm going in on the details and adding stuff like his back emblem right now. And so whatever detail you see, you know, in terms of folds and wrinkles and stuff, is all in the texture. It'll hide a lot. Let's open up his eyes a little bit, and that'll show you. Basically, you can get a lot out of a few polys if you just weigh your vertices right.
Okay, maybe you don't have to totally lunge out.
Gotcha!
I can't do this with these cameras.
You can't kill me, I'm immortal!
For Blind Kenshi's reaction...
It's just Kenshi now.
Okay, Kenshi. The loop does not match like where their starting heads are. Like, see his head right there? And then on the loop, look how far his head snaps back. I had to loop like the last bit of frames in order to make it look...
So I guess we're going to have to figure out a way to go about connecting the each of the coffins with the amount of money spent. And
Right, we've got the database, which is going to tell us what's in each coffin, how much the coffins cost. Once the player opens a coffin, it has to be marked in the player profile table.
So how many coffins are there in this crypt?
It's a 26 by 26 array, so there's 676 coffins.
It's a lot of coffins.
It's acting!
It's the life, man. This is the life.
So how's that motion work for you?
Things move so fast during one of our typical days that before you know it, the whole day's just flown by. Usually by then we're pretty exhausted, but we know the whole process starts all over again the next day. See you tomorrow, it's 7 o'clock.
The very first time I saw Mortal Kombat, I was totally blown away by the extremeness of it.
In 1992, Mortal Kombat changed the world of video gaming forever. The use of digitized actors, compelling characters, and gruesome graphic effects all helped to create a phenomena that took arcades by storm.
A lot of people don't realize that the game was originally meant to be, a quick project. I think if Mortal Kombat did not have any blood in it, it probably wouldn't have had the kind of success it did.
Fatality. Seeing people's first reaction of Mortal Kombat 1 in the arcades was pretty intense. You know, their reaction was just so over the top that, you know, they couldn't believe what they were seeing.
Wins. Come here! Excellent. Scorpion wins. Flawless victory.
Mortal Kombat 1 exceeded everybody's expectations. I don't think anybody was expecting it to be, you know, to become as big as it did.
There is no question of the impact Mortal Kombat has had on gamers around the world.
Fight!
I love playing Mortal Kombat.
In 1993, Mortal Kombat 2 was unleashed upon a sea of bloodthirsty fans. More characters, more moves, more blood.
The biggest challenge was probably just the amount of content that we had to generate. You know, before, everything that were Mortal Kombat 1, we wanted to double. All of the fans of the first game had high expectations for the second one. The merchandising was when we really kind of realized just how big the game had become. You know, it had become a lot more than a game. The rivalities and the friendships kind of poking fun at that whole controversy that came about.
Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Johnny Cage, Reptile.
You know, all eyes were on us, whereas before we kind of snuck up on everybody.
But the fans would still not be satisfied.
Standing.
1995 saw the release of Mortal Kombat 3 with a diverse cast of characters, crisp graphics, and an intricate combo system.
Reality's boring. Nobody wants to pay for reality. We take everything beyond reality to the point where it's, you know, the only way to do this is through our video game.
It was around this time that Hollywood smelled box office potential in the franchise.
We were very happy with the first film. You know, we had seen it throughout its entire production. It turned out to be a really, really fun film. It's easy to come up with the ideas, you know, anybody can come up with ideas for games and stuff, but it's to actually convert something from an idea in your head into reality, into something that is a sellable product. That's where the challenge is.
Mortal Kombat was unstoppable.
It was just fun playing constantly. Mortal Kombat 4 is the mother of all fighting games.
New technology made for broad advances in video games, and Mortal Kombat took full advantage. In 1998, Kombat, now in 3D, took on a whole new dimension.
The Mortal Kombat 4 Road Tour is something that's never been done before in the video game world.
I remember these big trucks driving around with the Mortal Kombat 4 logo on them.
MK4's release was again marked by controversy.
A new arcade game is causing quite a sensation.
Mortal Kombat 4. A new Mortal Kombat hits a new level of violence.
Meet Mortal Kombat 4, the latest horror in violent video games for your kids.
We took a look at games like this one, but are they just games, or could they have long-term effects on violent behavior in our society?
It definitely wasn't the only game with that kind of violence and blood. There were games that actually surpassed it. It was just the only game that really was, you know, hugely popular and had the violence and blood.
In 1997, Hollywood produced a second feature film.
The thing that really astounds us is that this one arcade game that we made in 1992 has managed to spawn off all these different forms of media.
Get over
MK4 would be the last version of Mortal Kombat to be released in arcades, and fans eagerly awaited the series' next chapter on home systems.
Toasty 3D! The fact that it sold in the millions was really kind of like a, you know, a bit of an attestment to it. I guess it's staying power, I suppose.
Feeding off the power of next-generation systems, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance brings the franchise home and expands its mythology.
This is easily the biggest production of all the Mortal Kombat games. You could take, you know, take the work of 3 of the previous games, put them together, and you have about what it took to make this game.
We really wanted to make sure the martial arts was authentic in Deadly Alliance.
I'm really excited about the look of Deadly Alliance. It has a great fantasy look, but still realistic at the same time.
In this game we can make things look a little more real with the clavicles and the neck bones that we didn't used to have in Mortal Kombat 4.
Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance debuted in Los Angeles at E3 2002, complete with a live show by Adema, performing.
The future for Mortal Kombat? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Over the last decade, Mortal Kombat has become a legend in the arena of fighting games that will be here for years to come.